You already know exactly what you're doing. You just pretend you don't so you don't have to stop. It's not that you lack self-awareness. You've read the books, watched the videos, sat in your own head for hours replaying every choice. The problem isn't insight. The problem is that insight without action is just another way to feel superior to the people you claim to understand. Here are 10 patterns you keep falling into, and not one of them is because you're broken. Point 1. You romanticize the chaos. You tell yourself you do your best work when things are falling apart, and for a while that felt true. But what actually happened is you learned to wait for crisis because calm felt like a threat. A person sitting alone in a cafe watches the rain and calls it poetic. But they're also afraid of what happens when the rain stops. Point 2. You rehearse conversations that will never happen. You draft arguments in the shower, write replies in your head while brushing your teeth, and spend entire evenings preparing for confrontations that never come. Why do we give so much power to conversations that only exist in our heads? Point 3. You mistake exhaustion for discipline. You stay up late calling it dedication. You skip meals calling it focus. You ignore your body until it screams, and then you admire your own resilience. A person running in empty hallway late night looks determined from the outside. Inside, they've been running for years and forgotten why they started. Point 4. You keep one foot out of every room. The new job, the new relationship, the new city, you never fully arrive. You leave before you can be left. A person packing suitcase hotel room looks organized. But they've done this 11 times and never once unpacked. Point 5. You measure your worth by how much you can tolerate. You brag about surviving things that should have broken you and call it strength. But there's a difference between enduring pain and believing you deserve it. A man sitting on edge of bed staring floor looks strong. He's actually just tired of standing. Point 6. You apologize for taking up space. You shrink in group conversations. You start sentences with sorry and then hesitate mid-thought because you don't want to be too much. When was the last time you said something and didn't immediately wonder if you should have kept it to yourself? Point 7. You punish people who show up. The ones who text back, who remember your birthday, who sit with you in silence, you push them away first because staying means eventually losing them, and you'd rather control the leaving. A couple sitting together couch, not talking, looks peaceful. One of them is already planning the exit. Point 8. You perform healing publicly and avoid it privately. You post the quote, you share the book, you mention therapy like it's a flex. But the real work happens in the quiet moments you never post about, the ones where you sit with something ugly and don't perform strength for anyone. Point 9. You mistake recognition for intimacy. Someone comments on your post and you feel seen. A stranger validates your feeling and you confuse it with being known. But being recognized by thousands of people who don't know your middle name is not the same as being held by someone who does. Point 10. You keep waiting for a version of yourself that feels ready. Ready to love, ready to rest, ready to stay. But readiness was never the point. You were supposed to learn how to move without it. A person standing at train platform empty watching trains leave looks lost. They're actually just finally admitting the train they wanted already left. You don't need to fix this tonight. You don't need to name it or break it down or turn it into something productive. Sometimes the most honest thing you can do is sit with it, let it be ugly, and not rush to make it mean something. Which one of these hit a nerve? Drop the number in the comments, I already know.